inside my heart, Cindy, I wanted to do a theater. I wanted to perform, but I didn't do it because I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of not being good enough. I was afraid of not being accepted. I was afraid of what other people might think about me. So I hid. I hid my what was really calling to my soul. I don't know if there's been a time in your life where you're like, what is going to happen next? What do I do next? And that was one of those big pivotal moments for me. And I was like, I've always wanted to write a one man show. And I went, it's time. And then that just over time that helped me step into my what God called me to do and to be and to live out this thing that was locked up inside of me. And my passion is your potential. And my mission is to help you live it now. So my passion is your potential. And my mission is to help you live it now. So when I see people living out their potential, it helps me live in my purpose now.
Welcome back to our show, Empower Your Life with Cindy Marie. This is the show where we're focusing on expressing, not impressing. Here, we celebrate being real, being authentic, building the strength from the inside out, and live the life with purpose and meaning. We also here to help you unlock your full potential, create the life that you're meant to live, and of course, being unstoppable. Today's guest is an international speaker, success coach, and a best-selling author who has worked with all audiences around the world. Today's guest is an international speaker, a success coach, and a best-selling author who has worked with audiences all around the world. He has delivered over 1,000 talks and trainings, helping entrepreneurs, leaders, and organizations unlock their full potential and create the meaningful results. He is a protege of Jack Canfield, and his passion is to help people energize their greatness and live with purpose and passion. Today, he is here with us to share how we can reclaim our time and elevating our energy and start living in a full expression in our own lives. So let's all welcome our next guest, Romeo Marquez Jr. Romeo, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much, Cindy, for inviting me to be here.
Thank you so much. Before we kick in, I just want to let you know when I was prepping of welcoming you, I don't know why, just suddenly always the name that come into my mind, Mario. It's either Romeo Mario and then Mario Marquez. I don't know why.
I get that all the time. I get
really?
Romeo, Mario, Romeo, yeah, all kinds of things. Whatever. Well, you can call me Mario and I don't mind.
Okay, well, I guess it's normal then. But yes. I thought to share that with you because I'm like, why? There's twisting in my mind. Yeah. Anyway, for people who have yet to know your story, just so you know, Romeo, we have a little tradition on our show where we invite our guests to share their journeys, to share their story. So for Mr. Romeo Marquez Jr., how everything began? You know, how did everything begin with you leading you where you are right now? And share with us a story that you feel called this time to share. What would that be?
Yeah, so I can go in different directions with this. I could share a super long version. I could share a super short version, but I'll share whatever comes to the present, right?
Yes.
I'm all about following intuition and just, sharing with what's present. So I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. As a young kid, I loved dancing. I loved break dancing. I did that all the way up until middle school. And in high school, I played sports. I played football. I was an athlete, but inside my heart, Cindy, I wanted to do a theater. I wanted to perform, but I didn't do it because I was afraid of rejection. I was afraid of not being good enough. I was afraid of not being accepted. I was afraid of what other people might think about me. So I hid my what was really calling to my soul. Fortunately, I went to a community college right after high school. And that's where I took my first acting class. And that really opened something up for me. I remember there was an audition for a play, and I've never auditioned for a play in my life. I don't know if you've ever had this in your life, Cindy, but there was something you wanted to do, but wasn't sure if you should do it, but you're like hesitant. For me, it was exactly that audition. So I go up to my first acting teacher and I go, "Hey, Valerie, there's this audition. Should I do it?" And she said these words that changed my life. She said, "Romeo, you won't know if you don't go." And I was like,
Mm.
"Girl, say that again. You won't know if you don't go. And when you go there, make bold choices." So I'll tighten
Mm.
up the story. I show up to the audition, get the part. It leads to other parts. Then I end up going to UCLA to study acting, theater, film, and television. And then after college, I was, auditioning. At the same time, I was teaching acting, and I found so much joy in teaching performing
Mhm.
arts. And then I had like students on Nickelodeon and Disney, and I opened up my own acting school and performing arts school. And then the performing arts school didn't work out, and I was like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do with my life?" I don't
Mm.
know, for those that are watching or people that are listening, I don't know if there's been a time in your life where you're like, "What is gonna happen next? What do I do next?" And that was one of those big pivotal moments for me. And I was like, I've always wanted to write a one-man show. And I went, "It's time." So
Mm.
I ended up producing this "It's Time" one-man show in the Bay Area. Then it went to Las Vegas, went to New York, Indiana, and it went to India.
Mm.
And I come back to when that performing arts school didn't work out, because sometimes in life when things don't work out, it really works out for the better. It
Mm.
really becomes a gift. At that time, I didn't know. Fast forward, I was ended up speaking around like the country. Started out with the high school students and the college
Mhm.
students, and then companies. And earlier on, before all that, even around the before that one man show, that's when I met Jack Canfield, where I
Mm.
read the Success Principles, and as
Yep.
you know, that changed my life. And then that just over time, that helped me step into my what God called me to do and to be, and to live out this thing that was locked up inside of me. And that as you go bigger, the vision gets bigger. And then I had aspirations to go around the world, and started to travel all around the world speaking. And all of this didn't just happen just because it showed up. Obviously there's hard work, obviously there's
Yes.
visualization,
Yes.
obviously it's about building relationships, so forth and so on. And I'm going to fast forward to it, to now. And so I'm on this path of just helping, people live their greatest potential. My big saying is, my passion is your potential, and my
Mhm.
mission is to help you live it now. So my passion is your potential, and my mission is to help you live it now. So when I see people living out their potential, it helps me live in my purpose. Now,
Mm.
just to give you a little quick background on 2025, it was the most blessed year, breakthrough year of my life. So many blessings showed up, great things happened. And I have to say, 2023 was the hardest year of my life. It was the most painful year of my life. That's when my dad passed
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
That's when I
Mm.
had 9 other deaths happen, and all these things started to show up. And you start, even as much as I do this work, I question, like,
Yeah.
what's next, or what's going to happen, what am I going to do. You start digging deeper into your why. And so what I was able to do, and what I feel that helped me 2025 become a great success, is because over the past couple of years I was able to turn that pain into purpose,
Mm.
pain into power, pain into things that are more positive, to help other people live their full potential. So in a nutshell, that's my story.
Yes, that's really in a nutshell. And I shared, first of all, thank you for sharing. And I shared to Romeo when I was digging a little bit, doing my homework. I watched so many things about Romeo that I never realized. You're incredibly persistent person that I guess really showing up as who you are. It's just becoming more and more clear, at least from what I have observed from the beginning of the videos that I have watched. And I
Wow.
saw the evolution. And one thing that I love about you is really you stay true to yourself of being who you are, meaning to say, being energetic. There are a lot of people that I saw because And I'm like you. I don't know if I have shared with you my story back then. It's all about people pleaser, because of how my I grew up. And I hit myself as well with a lot of things that I feel that it's just too much. I don't want to let go of those people that I thought would be cool as my friends. Obviously, now it's so different. And for you, while our background somehow the same, obviously we're Filipino, we are very performers by nature in blood, and think well, I can sing and I can dance, so that's part
I
of
can't
my.
sing.
But you can lip sync amazingly. So, and when we want to put all of our hats in one place, and it's not so common in our generation, we tend to step back and say, you know what, maybe this is not the time right now. And I felt that the same. And so I am grateful that you shared with us also that it's not a consistent breakthrough. There's also a place whereby the universe is going to test you. Just, I feel it's not to break you down, but also to remind you to keep grounded, to remind you to be humble, right? That while you are becoming of who you want to become, and at the same time, remember who have helped you there. Do not forget. And so I love the fact that you have shared the breakthroughs and also the hard part. And you mentioned back then when we are talking about your journey, which I want to ask you as a part of the continuation of our conversation, is not protecting, sorry, reclaiming your time, right? Learning how to say no and yes. And many people around us, I feel pulled in so many directions that almost saying yes to everything, especially when we're so attached with seeking approval or validation. So we are very curious. How did you learn of, saying a true yes and a firm no without feeling guilty? what has shift what has that shift done to your time and energy? So could you share with us how did it, transform your learning yes and no to really reclaim your time?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Um, it's on. This is something that will continue to show up, and you definitely want to say yes to the things that are just fun and good, but does it align with some of your
Mm,
goals and values? So I'm going to talk about values real quick. So one of the
yes.
ways I make my decisions are based on my values and goals. So values. So I value time with my family. I value with I value time in the people that I'm serving. I've been there have been many moments in my life where I'll say yes to a lot of things because I just enjoy them all, and or I don't want to say no to those people because they've been kind to me, or I just want to help and I don't want them to get mad at me or whatnot. What I've come to realize is that you got to say yes to yourself.
Mhm.
Like a no doesn't mean no forever. A
Yeah.
no can mean no right now.
Yes.
So well, I think for me, what's important is really understanding what are your top goals and your top values. So, for
Mm.
example, if today you have like 25 things to do, right? Um, I think a great way to reclaiming your time is what are your, for example, top three priorities. I love this Jim Collins quote, who wrote the book Good to Great. He said, if you have more than three priorities, you have none.
Yes.
Right. And trust me, I'm still guilty of having a lot of things on my to-do list, but like for today, I had three things on my list that I knew I needed to focus on. One of them being my podcast,
Thank
because
you.
because a lot of times I'll do all these things and I'll just give a little bit of energy in each of these, but am I really giving my full attention? Am I giving my full energy towards that thing? Because I don't want to undervalue what I'm able to bring. And that
Mm-hmm.
goes into time batching, and it goes into like setting boundaries. It goes into, the scrolling and getting caught up with the
Oh,
social media. Like one thing I was just sharing with a group in the training yesterday was, attention and time.
yeah.
And sometimes people say they don't have time, but I go, hey,
Mm.
check out your screen time and see how much time you spent on social media. And you might see 2 3 hours and you're like, oh, I could have spent that 2 or 3 hours on my business or my health or my family, whatever it may be. So there are things of that nature. I think what's important is also is to, practice strategies like the 90-91 rule. The 99-1 rule is doing something, pick one thing, like
Mhm.
your one of your top goals, doing that for the first 90 minutes of your day and doing that for 90 days. So focus on that 90 minutes, one thing, you do that every day, that will move you toward one of your goals that you want to achieve. That's one. And then from a regular daily productive day perspective or strategy is, a practice could be like the Pomodoro method, which is the 25-5 rule, where you do something for 25 minutes, you take a break for 5 minutes, and then you do 25 minutes again. And you do that in increments of like four, and then you take a little bit longer break, and then you do it again. And I say all these strategies and ways to go about it is because you yourself, you have control of your time. You yourself have control of your energy. And so life goes where energy flows, and it's up to you on how to reclaim that, because people say they don't have enough time. You actually have an equal amount of time as everybody else on the planet. It's just how we direct our attention. Yesterday I shared with the group is I shared them several AI tools, and one of
Mhm.
them was in attention intelligence. If you want to,
Wow.
create, success in your life and businesses, take notice of where you're putting your attention
Yeah.
to and kind of shifting that to things that that's going to bring you forward.
Yeah, beautiful. I think what I'm hearing from what you're saying is that, and I agree with you. Well, it takes a lot of self-awareness and consciousness to say that I know where my time goes, but a lot of people don't know, right? That's why they can say, I don't have time. And usually I would say, if we are in a session, that's a BS, you know. But I guess for many people listening or watching right now, you already nailed the question that I want to ask, why it's so important, right? And we're talking about living the life that you're meant to live, living your purpose and passion. And so you want to reclaim that time so sacred that you provide for yourself first, not as a guilty feeling, not as a selfish, but I think for many leaders, I'm sure you would agree with me, for many leaders that you have worked with or assisted with, they feel guilty if they would step back for own self because we have been programmed or raised that we give, 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 give. And then for ourselves will be later on, then we realize most of the cases will be the burnout. Most of the cases will be health. And then realizing that, oh, it's not that bad to actually step back and look for myself first so that it will create ripple effect for the beneficial of others, which a lot of people don't know, especially I would say even in our Filipino culture that we tend to give, 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 and then later on we realize we have nothing to give, especially when the people around us take advantage of that. Would you agree?
Yeah, yeah, and that comes back to a couple of things. Number one is you can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Mm,
That's why it's very important to fuel your soul, fuel yourself before you serve others. And we could talk about ways to do that, because the way I also look at time is energy, right? It's not just like time management, it's energy management.
yes.
I love also how you brought up an awareness
Mm,
of it all, because sometimes we're can be robotic or just not aware because we're on to the next thing, to the next thing. And that was one of the, I'm just going to break it down to you. So the four AI tools that I shared with them, the fifth one was attention intelligence, but I shared this at the talk I did in Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
and it was with a bunch of leaders, founders, CEOs, and the first one was awareness intelligence, identifying what's working, what's not working, and what could be differently. And those are three questions you can ask yourself, especially as it relates to how you're managing your time and energy. The second one, again, this might be veering off from our topic, but the second one is alignment intelligence,
Yeah.
which is aligning yourself with the energies, environments, and people who will evolve you, not dissolve you, who will
Mm.
empower you, not rather than disempower you, um, who inspire you, not expire you, who deposit into you, not withdraw from you. The third one is the affirmations intelligence. It's the stories and words that we tell ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So being able to say, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough time, you get what we think about most of the time. So as you say that, you're going to continue to attract that you feel like you don't have enough time, right? So being able to switch out those affirmations into more like positive words. And then the last one is appreciation intelligence. We get so hard on ourselves for many things, like not being able to serve all the people that we want to serve, or not giving time for ourselves. But at the same time, make sure you give yourself grace and give
Mm.
yourself moments in your life where you can appreciate things that may be there. There may be things that might not be going well, but there are a lot of things that are going well, and appreciate everything, because everything
Mm-hmm.
that shows up is truly a gift.
Beautiful. I mean, you share that tool, and let's break it down. First, I mean, the time and energy is a very together, right? You everything kind of come back to you with how you put your attention to your time and energy. But since you are always giving and giving strategies and processes to people, we want to know how or what does it mean to you elevating your energy? What does it look like in your normal or daily life? Can you share with us?
Yeah, yeah. So it all starts, I was going to say it starts in the morning, right?
Yeah.
That's partly true. I say partly true because it also starts from the night before. It's
Mm-hmm.
preparing for the next day. So I'll just get into my morning routine. So my morning routine consists of several things. The reason why I do a morning routine is because it helps me get grounded and build, I say, a force field of good energy before the world shows distractions, shows its challenges, shows its things that might throw me off. And my
Mm.
morning ritual consists of reading at least 10 minutes, something positive for 10 minutes. Then I'll review my goals. I'll say my affirmations, do my visualization. I'll meditate for 20 minutes, and then I'll write in a gratitude journal. For my gratitude journal, I write down, say, 10 things. And the reason why that's important for me is because I see appreciation like gas for a car, like a fuel for a car. And
You
what
will, yeah.
what gas stands for is gratitude attracts success, right? More importantly, it keeps me grounded, because while I want to do X, Y, and Z, I want to accomplish this, it helps me stop and pause to appreciate what I already do have.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Also, I love this saying where it's not happy people that are thankful, it's thankful people that are happy,
Yeah.
right? And then I go spend about an hour working out. And so by this time, I wake up at about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So by this time, I feel like energized, I'm good, and I'm ready to take on my day. Rather than being reactive, rather than getting up, going on my phone, scrolling, I'm taking all this energy, and now I have to take a shower, and then I have to go check my email and phone. It's just like, I lose control.
Mm-hmm.
Having a morning routine for myself, which helps me elevate my energy, gives me back control of life, because life will happen after those morning hours, right? And then coming back to the nighttime, not only do I prepare like my workout clothes, plan what I'm going to do the next day. It also gives me time to reflect. And two
Mm,
questions that I ask at the end of the day is, what are three amazing things that happened today? And what are
mhm,
three things that I can improve on? So again, taking little moments to reflect and, connect with the inner world, because it's your inner world that creates your outer world. So people
mhm,
ask, where do I get this energy and like fuel and what like happiness? And don't get me wrong, it's not, I don't wake up like I'm ready to start my day. No, like I wake up, I'm tired, like I don't feel like doing this,
mm.
but the day is like, that morning time is like a gym. It's like I got to get in there. It's a practice. And so last thing around this, I take moments throughout my day so that, because the morning will have its time and I'll feel good for the next couple hours, and it's important for me to detach, right? Detach from work for about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like that little break, so I can
Mhm.
kind of refuel again. And that can mean go outside, it could mean listening to some like feel good music, it could be stretching, moving your body. And that's another thing. It's not even just about taking a pause, but being able to take moments throughout your day or in your workouts to actually move, because emotion is basically energy in motion. When we're just stuck, stagnant, and still, right? And that can serve a purpose for a certain amount of time, but our body needs to move to recharge and reignite that energy again. So if you want to elevate your energy, you definitely have to create movement, but at the same time, make sure you take time. I make time, at least, to fuel my inner world, because sometimes we neglect that.
Thank you for sharing that. And one thing that I've learned about Romeo, he loves acronyms, which is a good thing because that's a very good way or great way to memorize things. For example, to remind yourself with everything. And so that's one thing I noticed about you. Very great at doing acronyms with all of the great things and the strategies. And the second thing that I want to highlight with people, as what he said earlier, it didn't happen like this as 100% formula that always gonna show up the same way. I think it's very important for us to highlight as well that I myself get challenged waking up in the morning and then having that really energy to go through with the routine. So for people, it's okay when you start building this kind of routine or practices to get a constant battle, because your old version of you will always protect or pull you to say, hey, you're okay with the old version of you. Why would you like to change? And especially the other thing that you mentioned earlier would be the boundaries, right? That I do believe, and I think it's something that many people, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Many people get stuck, not only the procrastination, but also your surroundings. Letting go of those people who no longer there for you to support you into the new version of you. Therefore, the new opportunities or possibilities will not be able to come to you because you're resisting for the possibility. And it's challenging because I have worked and conversation and observation that while they are great at what they do, and they still feel a little bit off because, and I ask them, so who are your surroundings? And there's nothing wrong of having great friends that you know for years, but if they don't align with your values anymore, I think it's good to reassess. What do you say?
Yeah. I think again, this is my perspective, my point of view, because I have different groups of friends. I got my friends from the middle school, high school, love them, hang out with them from time to time, based on our schedules. And then you have those environments or people where you used to be friends, but it can become negative, right? And then
Mm-mm.
and those are the ones you kind of want to pay attention to, where you want to potentially let go. And then you got the ones that are constantly evolving and growing and, aspire to achieve X, Y, and Z, or, they're very family or whatever it is you want to do or be. Like, basically, Wayne Dyer said something to the effect of surround yourself in the circumstances you want to experience, right? So if you want to be around, if you want to feel b- being around a more loving environment,
Mm-hmm.
surround yourself with loving people. If there's people that you love, but they become negative, it doesn't mean you have to remove yourself completely out of them, because sometimes they can be your family members, right?
Yes.
But you might take an inventory of spending less time with them and bringing your energy to, again, things and environments and places that will again evolve you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
one one exercise that Jack talks about is making a list of all the people who are in your life or that you know hang out with or whatever it is, and then next to each of those names, add a plus or a minus. The plus is, you know, bringing you energy, adding value, and the other one is like the negative is like you add a negative or a minus sign that's taking away your energy,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of bringing you down. And so you want to definitely create that assessment because
Yeah.
I think as you were talking, the other thing I love sharing is as we enter into this new year of 2026, you can't be around the exact same people, have the same thinking, do the same actions if you're trying to create new goal or achieve new goals and achieve these new things in 2026. In other words, it's time to upgrade your software, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just like our phone, right? Just like our computer, we need to upgrade because that past version is no longer working, or it might feel the software is moving slower. And so,
Yeah.
in order for you to move at a faster rate to get you to where you want to go, that means you might have to switch a few things. In other words, in this case, it's, you know, potentially switching up some of the people you're hanging out with.
Yeah. And if you've been listening to this conversation and thinking, I don't want to just understand these ideas, I want to actually live them, this is your gentle nudge. We offer one on one and small group coaching for heart led people who are ready to stop people pleasing, stop shrinking who they are, and start leading their lives with more honesty, courage, calm, and confidence. Together, we turn insights like this into simple, real actions in your daily life so you feel more like yourself at work, at home, and in your relationships. And you move closer to the mission and purpose that truly matter to you. If that speaks to you, you can learn more and book a no obligation clarity call through the link in the show notes or at our website. When you're ready to be unstoppable from the inside out, I'm here to support you. Now, let's go back to the episode. Yeah, and gosh, it's so beautiful that you said about the plus and minus that it's a very incredible for people to use all the tools and the strategies that you have sharing. And one of those things that I really super curious because I have observed this with all of your talks and interviews and also part of your TEDx in India, you talk about the LIFE, living in full expression. It's a part of who you are. So I don't know actually if anyone has asked you what's the story behind and how did it come to life in your journey and why it's becoming or it became part of your core message. Share with us.
Thank you for asking that. So, I wrote a book called The Success Messages, and pretty much what it is a series of inspirational messages that I downloaded in meditation. And the acronym for life, LIFE, and I'll share with you all in a moment, came from the download, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the meditation, because in that download, in that meditation, I go, God, what is something you want me to share with the world today? And I'd received these different messages, and one of them was the acronym for life, and that is living in full expression.
Mm-hmm.
And why that resonates with me is because coming back to my story, there were a lot of times in my life, even after high school, where I would cage these things up that I wanted to express, to share, to live out because of the fears that would show up. But the
Yeah.
more I stepped into living in full expression, uh, not only opportunities and abundance and great things came my way, but it just felt good because it was something to release, right?
Mhm.
My other acronym or my other sayings around life is loving in full expression, being able to
Ah.
express that love to the people, whether it's your significant other, your friends, your family, even strangers. Uh,
Hmm.
Another acronym for life is letting intuition free every day. A lot of
Oh,
times we ignore it. We uh,
yes.
quiet that nudge. One of the messages that I received in meditation is when God gives you a calling, stop sending him to voicemail, right? And so we quiet that, we quiet that nudge, we quiet the intuition. But what would happen if you listen to that every day and you were able to not second guess it? Imagine where your life would be. Because most of the time, I don't want to say all the time, most of the time people go, I wish I would have listened to myself earlier, right? I wish I would have
Mm.
took action on that earlier. But, certain things showed up or there was a fear, there was a doubt, but continue to be guided that. And then the last thing around life is letting inspirations flow every day. You have these ideas, you have these inspirations like those are gifts. Those are gifts
Yeah.
delivered to you. And it is, and if they come to you often, if this idea comes to you often, if this inspiration comes to you often, it's meant to be delivered because what idea stands for, acronym, is inspirations delivered equal action, right?
Okay.
And the more I took action, the more things started to show up. But the more I hid that intuition, hid those inspirations, prolonged those ideas, I was questioning like, why isn't life, doing what it does so I can achieve my dreams? Like, no, we have to take action because acronym. When you do it now, when you do it now, NOW, you have new opportunities waiting. So part of it all is being able to, live this life to the fullest. And that was one of my
Hmm.
biggest awakenings, especially when my dad passed away, among the
Mm.
many other lives that passed away. And that's, just life is nothing more than a start date and an end date and a hyphen in between it. And it's up to us to fill in that blank, right? With our time, with our energy, with the people we love, with the time that we have, because that is part of what our legacy is going to be. And what another acronym for life is to, what we do in this life is to LIFE, leave it for everyone that's going
Mm.
to come after us and for some of the people that came before us. Um, so, and then the last thing I'll say around life itself is a Abraham Lincoln quote
Hmm.
who said something to the effect of, "It's not about how many years you live in this life, but how much life you
Mm.
live in these years."
Okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. I will call you Mr. Acronyms.
Please do,
Has
please
anyone
do.
actually call you Mr. Acronym?
So, not necessarily that, but they're like, "How are you're like how there's those rappers that could rap, and I just like
Yeah.
would download these like acronyms, but no, nobody's ever called me Mr.
Well,
You
I
are the
mean,
first.
it's a compliment because
Yeah.
as I was listening to you, I'm like, oh my God, this guy living really the full expression of himself because the creativity just showing up as you speak, and I can feel the energy,
Yeah.
and there's a when you speak with someone and when it's really genuine that he speaks or she speaks out of her authenticity, that there's no superficiality. I can sense that with you whenever you
Oh,
speak about your mission, about your purpose, and about your message. And it's so powerful because I think it's so challenging for many people nowadays where the next question I want to ask you, I want to break it down into three perhaps, because we're talking about values, the joy, the passion, and alignment. And one of those will be alignment. I believe in the life that we're living right now, where social media can be super, super disrupting for many people who want to continue living their life in a true and full expression. You mentioned about alignment in part of your tool as well. So my curious question for you, how does that really alignment look like, and how does people can start gently to build in that step by step that, okay, oh, this is what's working for me, apart from knowing their core values, because nowadays you can have all the assessment test results, what are your core values, but you have to live by that core value. So share with us, what does it look like? How can people step by step build that alignment?
Yeah. So what comes to mind is aligning, to put it simply, aligning with realigning or aligning with your soul, with your heart's desires, what makes you feel good, what helps you align with God, whatever your higher power is, right? And so being able to take notice, it's all notice and awareness, right? That's number
Yeah.
one. Number two is doing something that aligns with, and then depending on what the goal here is to achieve, let's just say it's to write a book, right?
Yeah.
So it's aligning yourself to, if your goal is to write a best-selling book, start aligning yourself around the circumstances and knowledge around creating a best-selling book. So that means whether it's doing research, whether it's speaking with other authors, whether it's understanding how to write a best-selling book and what are the strategies around it. So one way to look at this even deeper is take notice of what are some of your goals you'd like to achieve, and what are 3 to 5 things that you think will align with that will help you align to achieve that goal. So again, coming back to the best-selling book, it's aligning yourself with the environments, number one, aligning yourself with the energy, right? And aligning yourself with the people that will help you bring that into fruition. That's that in a nutshell. And then what I think also gets messy, as you were talking about how it can be a messy and crazy world out there, is being able to take a moment to pause and realign in that way.
Yeah.
There's the meditation, there's the deep breath exercises, there's just a moment to pause. Sometimes, a lot of times in my life, can be chaotic, and I want to do the next thing, or I'm like, on to the next thing. And there are times, I'll get vulnerable here. There are times where I don't have it all together. I know I'm very aware of this concept of pause, but I don't practice it all the time. But when I have this awareness, and when I do it to realign, because my realignment happens in the morning and at night, there are times I forget in between. So aligning yourself and taking a pause with yourself, your soul, your higher power. And then again, I will bring it back to the values, because like family is a big value of mine. So as I achieve the goals, or as I aspire to get this, sometimes I can neglect this other thing, right? This other area of my life. I have neglected time with my family. I have neglected time with my friends because I was so into this. But I have to realign again with what I value, with my time and energy, and schedule it, put in a calendar with friends. So that's what I can say about alignment for right now. Obviously, there's so much more around it.
Yeah, I think what I love when you mention about pause, I think it's very important, because so we're living in a constant, seems like constant race that we have to show more, that we are looking successful. And now you have helped us break down the alignment looks like to live in a full expression. What about passion? Because you and I, we've talked about it earlier, that actually we felt the call at a young age, but we hid that. And Though the generation right now, very, very different. They know what they want, but they shortcut, right? They want to short or fast forward. So my question for you is that how can we help this time to have clarity in terms of passion? You're living your full expression with a passion that's not because you are affected with your society, but really because it's speaking to your heart. What does it look like? How can you help us to get more clarity in that level?
Yeah, again, some of the best ways to find the best answers are asking. So that is to ask yourself, what are you passionate about? But another way of asking that is, what makes you come alive, right? What brings you happiness? I know we're gonna get into another part of the three you were talking about, but what makes you come alive? There we could be inundated with the trying to achieve X, Y, and Z, but
That we are breaking down the joy, the passion, and alignment part of your values. And you have already shared with us the alignment. Moving to the passion, help us to get clarity when it comes to the passion that we are not actually affected with how the society would like us to be in a place of pursuing in a life of full of expression rather than living of just following different masks instead of living your full expression.
my answer to that is asking yourself the right questions. So in addition to asking what are you passionate about, also ask what makes you come alive, right? Because that's where the deep passion is. And when you answer so one of the ways I would approach passion is asking yourself the right questions. And that soul, what makes your heart happy, right? Because there can be many things you're passionate about, whether it's a sport or this TV show or whatever. If we're talking about aligning and doing things as it relates to also achieve, aligning yourself with the 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 people that make you come alive, the energies, the environments, and more importantly, I don't want to say actually not more importantly, but in addition to that is what's going to challenge you, what's going to grow you. Because a lot of times we can be doing things that feel good, but we also have to learn, and learning, as we know, leaders are readers, and obviously going to workshops and trainings and getting coaching or whatnot. They will find well, they will give you opportunities to fine tune what direction and how you should navigate life. So that's a little bit around passion, because I can talk a lot about passion, but that's it in a nutshell. What makes you come alive and do that more?
And how is that important for you to involve the joy? I mean, you speak joy as human being and that reflects on how you deliver your message. And I can sense that it's a very strong part of your value. But for other people, why it's so important to involve or include joy in finding their alignment and also reconnecting with their passion? Why it's so important?
I think joy is an indicator of how you're doing life, right? And how you want to do life. Because you can be doing something for a very long time, or you're doing something that doesn't feel good or doesn't bring you happiness. But could you live life that way? Sure. But do you want to live that way for 20 more years, 50 more years, 6 more months? Probably not, right? And so I think it's important for you to create moments of joy. Like, so say if you're in a career and you're not finding that joyful, but it does pay the bills and all that.
Yeah.
My thing around that is do things that bring you joy. I suggest to people creating a joy list. Like you write like a T, right? On one side, it's a money sign. On the other side is a no money sign. On the money sign, write down 10 things that bring you joy that cost money. For me, it's like a massage. For me, it's like eating at a favorite restaurant. For me, it's buying a book or investing in a program where I learn something. It's, dinner with my family. The things that don't cost money is going by the ocean, taking a walk, um, watching a good show, like anything that just fuels your soul, and schedule it. We're so
Yeah.
caught up in the to do and the achieving of the goals. I'm all for that, as you know, but why not create moments of, but we have to be intentional with it. And that's one of the realizations that I have about life is most people are not creating moments of joy in their life in which where they definitely are able to do so unless we create, we just have to create awareness around it.
Hmm.
While you're working on your multiple streams of income, also work on your multiple streams of happiness, your multiple streams of joy, and balancing those two together. That's an unstoppable, loving, aligned, passionate feeling.
Yeah, I love that. I actually being challenged to use balance because other people will find it a little balance. Is there a balance in life? So I've
Right.
learned to use.
Exactly.
I learned how to use the harmony instead. So how can you harmonize
That's good.
everything?
That's
How can
good.
you harmonize in life whatever that fuels you? And I love you, Manch. I mean, these three things are so important in our lives. Therefore, I love that we have breaking it down because the next question that I want to ask you is about optimism. And optimism has a different definition, interpretation from different, I mean, per individual. But my question for you is a little bit, maybe I'm actually very curious how you're going to answer it. What will be your message for someone who is going through a very challenging situation whereby, say, they lost their jobs or their business is not going well, a relationship is breakdown, it's going down, it's not going well, and so anxiety is showing up all at once. Now, if it's in your situation, what will you do? How do you keep yourself optimistic? What will be your gentle steps that you're going to do to keep yourself moving forward in spite of all the situations that are happening at the same time?
Yeah. Um, I've been through the fire and the hard times so many times, like at the level of like death of like my dad, and I'm by his bedside, and like the pain and of all that. So my my first step is the gratitude list.
Mm,
Despite what's happening in life, there's still many things to be grateful for. Number two, be grateful for the experience that you have. Number three, be grateful for the family and friends that you have that are still showing up for you. Number four, be grateful for the experiences that you've experienced. If it's like work and you lost it out, be grateful for the people that you met or helped, the customers that you served, the clients you've, you know, loved being around, whatever it may be. That's number one. So it's important for you to have that gratitude list because it reminds you of what you do have, rather than focusing on what you lost. Because
mhm.
again, you get what you focus on, and what you focus on expands. So the more you focus on what you don't have, the more you're gonna attract of what you don't want or don't have. So get in the space of embracing what you do have. That's number one. Number two is creating a 101 success list, and what
Mm,
that is writing success. Right, whether it's going to this school or getting this raise or getting this job, X, Y, and Z, and you do that up to 101. The reason why you do that is because number one, you look back at all the things you've accomplished, but number two, you think about all the different the different hard times, the sacrifices, the hardships, what it took for you to achieve each of those goals. So the thing that showed up in this present moment, you look back and go, I'm 100% capable of overcoming this situation because in the past and going through these 101 things, I have like proof that I can overcome anything, right? So it
mhm.
builds back the confidence. And then number three is realigning, realigning with what it is you do want, right? I think everything happens for a greater reason. And then, I think, just to kind of fast forward this, is asking the question, what is the gift in this situation? Right.
Yeah.
When that performing art school didn't work out, the opportunity for me to do the one man show presented itself. But what is the gift? Because it's all there to serve you. And one of the things I like sharing is, when God gives you what you want, that's God's direction. When God doesn't give you what you want, that's God's protection. Right. So being able to know that easier said than done
Yes, yes.
for it to all fit for the greater picture, but keep moving forward. You stay in faith, and being able to practice gratitude, being able to write that down, that 101 success list. And then there's an opportunity for you to, learn or upgrade to whatever software that's being wanted in your life. So it, or more of a writing of a new chapter, if you will. So the end of something to the beginning of something new.
Thank you so much for sharing
Okay.
that.
I also want to talk about the power of optimism, right? There's a James Allen quote who said, "Good thoughts and actions can never produce bad results. Bad thoughts and bad actions can never produce good results." So I like to say is use the
Choose.
AI. Use the AI tool, Chat GPT, but it's not the Chat GPT I'm talking about that people think I'm talking about. It's chatting good, positive thoughts.
I'm learning so much with Mr. Acronyms in a good way.
Yeah,
Chat
because
GPT.
chatting good positive thoughts, and it's more than just positive thinking, but because most of them, regardless of, even if things are going good, negative thoughts, doubt will still come here in your life. But that's why it's important to practice the affirmations, realigning with meditation, prayer, because again, it's your inner world that creates your outer world. So align yourself
Yeah.
with good things in life.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think one of the things that may be great to highlight as well, that it is okay to feel whatever you're feeling in terms of emotions, whatever the breaking point that you're experiencing. I think for many people, not built to express that. And I think it's time for us to express that and seek for guidance or help whenever we need to. And don't be afraid to share that, because people are here to guide one another. It's our constant thoughts saying that, oh, you will be a burden. No, it's not true. It's just your thought. So give ourselves permission to constantly stepping back and ask ourselves questions, whether are those thoughts actually belong to me, or that belong to the ego that's saying that you don't have to ask for help, and so on and so forth. Apart from what you have shared, all those powerful tools that many people can always apply that. There's always a reason for you to apply that. And one of the beautiful things that happening in our conversation right now is that the internet, it kept on up and down. And what's the gift? The gift, like I told you, is the patience. And thankfully, you are so patient with us, and you making sure of making me feel that it is okay, while I really, respect your time as well. And so I'm sure that many people love the acronyms that they've learned from this conversation, and they would love to learn more about what you offer, perhaps inviting you for speaking engagements or talk or hosting, name it. So where or what is the best place to reach or connect with Romeo Marquez Jr.?
Yeah, you can find me on a couple places. My website, romeomarquezjr.com. And the second place is Instagram. I'm on Instagram most of the time. I shouldn't say that most of the time.
Active.
I'm not saying, yeah, I'm active. I'm not spending most of my time on Instagram. Out of all the socials, Instagram is like my main source of social media. So, and that handle is Romeo Marquez Jr.
And
Yeah, that's the best place to connect with me.
and that's the power of awareness. You caught yourself. right away.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's also a great way to honor that like what you said earlier, not always you can right away switch to what you're teaching, and that's okay. That's the
Yeah.
beauty of being human beings. Now, I
Yeah.
know time is ticking and time is wrapping up, but before I let you go quickly, Romeo, if there's one small thing that you want to give our listeners or viewers to change, make a change starting today to in a way of how they live their life in a full expression, what would that be and why?
The message I feel called to share is stop waiting for permission. You
Mm,
are ready, you are equipped, you have the experience. Uh, don't wait for the perfect time. Your time is now. The world is waiting for you. The world wants what you have. You are the gift, and the gifts that are within you needs to be shared because your dreams are connected to other people's dreams. And as you live yours and as you fuel the world with all that you have, especially your heart, great things will not only show up, but this is all going to be a part of the legacy you're going to leave behind. And so, no more waiting. Your time is now. It's time. Whose time? It's your time. And don't forget, I believe in you. I believe in you.
yes, I was about to show you your favorite movements.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And that's a wrap, finally, with all of these hiccups with technology. Thank you so much for
Of
everyone
course.
watching or listening right now. If you feel resonated with this episode, share it with someone that who needs to listen or watch it again and great insights from this episode. Until next time, with yours truly, Cindy Marie here to empower your life. Romeo, thank you so much for sharing your time and energy. We appreciate you so much and especially your heart with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for watching or listening this episode with Romeo Marquez Jr. And remember, how you use your time, where you place your energy shapes the quality of your life. Every honest yes and kind no and every small choice to live in full expression matters. If this episode spoke to you, share your thoughts with us and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share this with someone who might need support to reconnect with their energy, time, and purpose. Your support helps the podcast grow so we can empower more people around the world. Until next time, reclaim your time and elevate your energy and keep taking small, real steps that feel aligned with your joy and who you truly are. Believe in yourself. You are worthy of a life that feels honest, energized, and alive. And you've got what it takes to pursue your dreams and make a positive impact. Keep going, keep choosing what lights you up, and always remember, be unstoppable.